Was I disrespectful or was I abused at Parkrun on Saturday? Let's find out. I am a regular parkrunner, like many of you will know. I started in 2011, that's 14 years of parkrunning, and whilst I've had a couple of lean years, I have done at least a couple of parkruns every year since. As of this last weekend, I am on 275 parkruns and I've volunteered 7 times, and I know that isn't enough, but that will change and it will be more by the end of this year. The majority of my parkruns have been at Worthing, which is now my home parkrun. I've done 88 official parkruns, although it is actually 89 because I did forget my barcode 1 week. And my original home parkrun, Brighton and Hove parkrun, that's a close second on 83 parkruns. Worthing is a very easy course. It's essentially out and back on the promenade. There's not a lot that can go wrong. Occasionally we'll have fairground rides or a French market which might block the route a little bit, and there are always some bollards to watch out for early on and in the last few metres of the run. In the winter or in the rain it can be slippy, and Parkrun at Worthing has been cancelled for that reason in the past. Now you might think this sounds like I'm building up to something, and you'd be absolutely right. I am getting all my excuses in before the story I am about to tell you. Now, having just said that I am a regular at Parkrun, for the past few weeks I've actually been busy every Saturday, so I hadn't been to Parkrun for about 5 or 6 weeks. So this Saturday I was keen to get back into it. I am edging towards 300 total Parkruns and 100 at Worthing, so I'm keen not to let the momentum slip too much. I left the house nice and early with Victoria and Elsa for the 1 kilometre jog from our home to the start line. It was pouring with rain, but that was never going to stop us, and it didn't stop the 405 other parkrunners who attended Worthing Parkrun this Saturday. Having not run hard for a while, I wanted to give it a good go this morning. Now, Worthing Parkrun can get rather crowded, and if you stand in the mid-pack or towards the back, you can get rather blocked in. I wanted to start towards the front, and it just so happened there was a shelter just about where I wanted to be, out of the rain, so I thought I'd stand there. The last time I did Parkrun, the pre-race briefing was given at the front of Parkrun with a megaphone, but quite often people in the mid-pack and towards the back wouldn't be able to hear, and they would chatter amongst themselves and just clap along when they saw everyone else clapping at the front. Depending on what I'm doing at that parkrun, I might be near the front so I can hear the briefing perfectly well, or sometimes I'm taking it easy and I'm mid-pack or near the back, which means I can't really hear the briefing. But in order to help those people at the back hear the briefing, they have now moved the pre-race briefing to the back of the field. So I stood in that shelter out of the rain nearer the front. There were a few other people milling about near me who also couldn't hear the briefing, but essentially I was on my own. By the way, if you're finding this video in any way interesting or entertaining, then please do consider subscribing to the channel and do watch this video all the way to the end so you can hear what happens. After a few seconds of standing under the shelter, a parkrun volunteer a few metres away looked at me and said, "So you're not doing parkrun then today?" This surprised me because I was standing in my running gear wearing a Parkrun branded vest. Of course I'm doing Parkrun, I thought. "Yes, I am," I replied, confused. But then I realised he was being passive-aggressively sarcastic, which really got my back up. "Well, you need to go and listen to the briefing," he said. "It's okay," I said. "I've heard it many times before." "You haven't heard this one," he replied in an increasingly aggressive tone. Then he said, "You're being very disrespectful." I couldn't believe I was being singled out, picked on and embarrassed at my home parkrun. I think I mumbled something like, "Oh, for goodness sake." And then I spied some friends of mine, so I skulked over to stand with them.
I don't usually skulk a lot, but I suppose I could skulk if skulking were required.
He was still saying, "That's very disrespectful," as I walked away. We still couldn't hear the race briefing from where I was, but at least I was away from the scary man. The whole altercation only lasted a few seconds and it didn't ruin my day by any means, but thinking about it afterwards, I was really annoyed. The thing is though, I couldn't work out if I was annoyed because deep down I knew he had a point, or because his unnecessarily aggressive tone was so out of proportion with the situation. It's only parkrun. To be fair to that particular volunteer, I don't know anything about him. Perhaps he was having a particularly bad day, or perhaps maybe last week he'd had to deal with somebody who'd had an incident which might have been avoided had they been paying attention to the race briefing. And it is also written into the parkrun official codes of conduct to pay attention to the race briefing. But from my perspective, remember, I've heard the wording pre-run briefing many times before. I am well aware of the potential risks on that particular course. Furthermore, I am an adult capable of managing my own risk. I always thank volunteers, and I'm sure the people who've got birthdays or milestones today will forgive me for missing just this one time. And furthermore, it's just parkrun, a bit of fun on a Saturday morning. I didn't come here to get scolded and treated like a child.
Oh my god, just stop, just stop it.
Now, if asked, yes, of course, I would say we should try and pay attention to the pre-run briefing if we can. But as a volunteer, and I've been a volunteer on occasions before, I would never approach a runner and tell them off for not listening to the briefing, especially in such a passive-aggressive manner. I don't know anything about that runner's personal circumstances, and it's just not my place to go around verbally assaulting people at a friendly, fun, inclusive Saturday morning event.
I need to calm down. Everything's fine. I'm an adult.
Volunteers are, of course, an absolutely integral part of parkrun. It really couldn't happen without them, and I hope you offer to volunteer one day at your local parkrun. I'm working towards my 25 volunteer t-shirt, and of course, I apologise profusely on behalf of myself and anyone else who's either deliberately or accidentally missed the pre-run briefing. No disrespect is meant in any way for all the hard effort that the volunteers do put in every week.
I've arrived, I've got my high vis on, I've got my barcode scanner identification, and I've got the most important thing, which is my coffee, which I've literally just spilled all over me.
So there we are. Get your comments in down below. Was I wrong to not listen to the pre-run briefing and stand out of the rain instead? Was I unfairly assaulted by the volunteer? Or was I just annoyed at him because he publicly outed me for my genuinely disrespectful behaviour? Get your comments in down below. Let me know if anything similar has happened to you. Thank you so much for watching. Last time I ran parkrun, apart from this Saturday, was with Aubrey. Go and watch that video right here, right now, and I will see you on the start line next time, provided I haven't been banned for my disrespectful attitude.